Let's see, does this thing work? Let's see. Is it sending stuff? So, yeah, let's see. Okay, I think it works. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, so hello, folks. My name is Prodesilaos, also known as Prot. This morning, I thought I would do a live stream, and just like that, I announced it. So it is spontaneous. I don't know if anybody will show up, but I will basically do some work on Emacs, and you will get to see it. This live stream will be recorded, so if you cannot watch it live, no problem. You can always check it out later. As I said in the publication where I announced this, as well as in the description of this video, I want to do some work on a few of my packages, spacious-padding, fontaine, denote, the F themes maybe. So there are lots of little things that I want to work on, and maybe during these 2 hours or so, I can get some of these done. And this is the idea. So let me start with spacious padding. I have it over here. And here are two issues that I need to comment on. But maybe I should first say what spacious padding is. So I will disable it now. Normally, when you use Emacs, you see something like this. Like windows are close to each other. The mode line is like this. And when you enable spacious padding, you are basically adding more padding. You see more space to the mode line between the windows, around the windows, and all this is configurable. This is the idea with a spacious padding, basically. Let's get now to the issues over here. Here we have an issue which was about the fact that when spacious padding mode was enabled in the PGTK build of Emacs, it was breaking the tab bar mode. And we discussed this with the person who reported the issue here. I could not reproduce it on my end because I was not using PGTK. And we eventually found that it was PGTK. So I asked this person if they could report the bug on the Emacs development bug tracker, on the Emacs bug tracker rather. And this was 2 weeks ago, it seems. And I have received no reply. So I will just ask them. So what they have been up to. Hello. Hello again. Have you had the chance to review this bag of spacious padding mode with the PGTK build of Emacs? As I told you, I am not using PGTK, so I won't report a bug upstream, but maybe it is something you are interested in doing. Okay, so let's actually post this here. Okay, up, got an extra line there. Okay, let's leave it at that. Let's post it over here. By the way, if there are any comments, as I said, I will check them out. I have this window over here, and I will reply to everyone. So actually, I see that my face is in the way. So up. Okay, maybe there we get to see the latest ones. So hello to everybody in the chat. As I said, if there are any questions, I am happy to respond to them. But I will do it periodically. So I will be working on this and then switching to the comments to see what we have over there. So let's close that. This is done. And then let's take a look at this one over here. Maybe the text is small here, actually. Let me enlarge it so that you see what we have. So this person is getting an error. Invalid face box. Something is amiss here. I asked if they have the code that produces this error, and they are telling me that they are just doing it with spacious padding mode. Okay, so, and they are also on Emacs. Let's say strange. Can you please enable the, can you please do, can you please, I deleted what I didn't want to delete, Emacs toggle debug on error, and then try to reproduce the error. Okay, typos. This will give you a backtrace. Please post it here. Okay, this is the idea. Let's add this and the thank you. Okay, that's good. So this is it with the spacious padding's issues. Let me then switch to spacious padding proper. I made a few changes recently. Let's take a quick look. Okay, so I made a few changes that improve the usability, or rather, not the usability, the customizability of spacious padding mode. There is the option to add a divider between windows if the divider is only 1 pixel long. And let me show you because I think this is nice to see, actually, since we are here. And let's go to the scratch buffer, set Q, and let's paste this in. So if I have two windows side by side, let's have these, for example. If I have two windows side by side, you will notice that there is a space between them, which is 30 pixels wide in this case, and it is this thing over here. Of course, if you have a large margin, we will hide the border. We don't want to show, a large, thick border over there. But if the user opts for a value of 1, let's see what happens. And I will have a spacious padding mode here to activate it again. Notice now that we do get the padding around, but here between the windows, we have this 1 pixel width line. So I can actually make these a bit larger just so that you see them. Of course, I don't mean to say that these are the values I would use, but just so that you see, spacious padding is working for other stuff, but this border here is preserved when right divider width is 1 pixel wide. So let me set this to what I had before. I think this is what I had. It looks right. I'm not sure if it is the right value, but it doesn't really matter. If somebody is using this, they can instead modify the fringe, the width of the fringe. The fringe is this area here we see on the side of the windows where we find the continuation lines. You see these, maybe, I don't know even if you see them, but there are these bitmap characters, these little lines over here, these spots over there. And for example, you may want to see the divider line, but prefer to have wider fringes. So we can do something like this. And let me increase the size just for, just for demo purposes. Let's okay, sorry folks, I am trying to use different modifiers, and I am clumsy with it. Okay, so this is the idea. Now you see that there is this one divider here, 1 pixel wide divider line, and then the fringes are wider. So this is the idea. Actually, let me keep this setting, but with less pronounced width for the fringes. Let's keep this going, and I want to see if I have actually documented all this, because I am not sure actually. So here is the documentation string. If the value is less than 1, the border is not hidden when spacious padding mode is enabled. That's correct. Left, okay, and the fringes here refer to the fringes on each side of the window. Okay, this looks totally fine. Let me see, and everything here is fine, and the value type of everything is a natural number. So this is looking correct, but let's go here and let's search for the development version. And let's see. Okay, so I have documented everything here. So I would say this package is fine. We don't need to do anything more to it. Just let me see if I have updated the sample configuration. And the answer is no. So let's do that very quickly. Spacious.el here. And basically, I just show the default value. I think it's good to have it here, because someone may actually check the sample configuration without checking something else. So it's good to have it like that for for the sake of discoverability. Let's see. Okay, everything else looks fine here. So let's quickly document this. Update the sample configuration to reflect latest developments. Okay, this is good. So we are pushing up. Oh my goodness. So failed to push some refs to what happened. Okay, yeah. I pushed something on the laptop, and now I have to do. Oh my goodness. What is the easiest way to do this? I forgot. Okay, let me copy this because it's a small change. Let's do a hard reset now. Origin main. Let's pull from main. Oh, come on. There was a typo in the README, and this is breaking stuff. And then let's put this back in. Back here again. No worries, folks. We just bring the latest commit there, and we push now. Yeah, no worries. So that was a small issue. Okay, so this is it with spacious padding. I think it works nicely. We will see. The people will tell me if there are any issues with it. So let's dismiss this. And then we can move on to fontaine. But let me check in the chat here. So we have Prashant, Jordanis, Thomas, Maxim, Gabriele, Theodore. Let me see random searches. So hello to everybody. Let's see. Let's see what we have. Where to begin when someone's on Doom? Yeah, that's the thing. Like Doom and all the other, starter kits or stuff that try to do their own thing. So Doom has lots of macros and things. So I think there it's kind of hard for us to debug because you don't really know. As a user, you don't really know what goes into it. So you don't really know where to look for possible breakage. Whereas when you are piecing together your own configuration, of course, it is a pain. It takes more time. But you gain insight into what you put into it. So all these pieces come together, and as you are piecing it into the system you have, you kind of have a sense of what is going on. Whereas with something like Doom, it obscures these sorts of things. So yeah, of course, what Theodore points out there is problematic. By the way, I guess this is too small. So let me enlarge. Okay, so yeah, this is maybe too large now. So yeah, I would say this is good. Okay, but if it's not, then you can let me know. Have you checked out Emacs Everywhere package? If yes, why don't you prefer it instead of writing the comments response in a separate Scratch buffer? I am not familiar with Emacs Everywhere, so let's do that right now. Everywhere. So what's the thing with this? System-wide pop-up Emacs window for quick edits by Techosaur. Okay, so that sounds great. Okay, I will take a look at it, but not now. So what I normally do in this case is I clone the repo, take a look at the code, and if I think it's not doing something funny, then I install it. But I will do that later, so thank you very much for that. I never looked up is actually yeah, so the fringe is an area where you see those continuation lines, and you also see like other stuff like if you use FlyMake or FlyCheck, they will pop up an indicator over there, or if you use diffHL or gitgutter, that sort of thing, so they will show you there some information. So random searches says, you're the person who helped me, not just with Emacs, but especially with your philosophy videos. Thank you very much, Prot. I really admire you a lot. You're welcome, and I am happy to help in any way I can. Let's see. What's the difference between, I don't know, I cannot see, there is this emoji thingy here. Can we move this? Is there a way to dismiss this? Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. This is a complete disaster. Okay. What is the difference? Let me copy, Let's copy this into a buffer here. What is the difference between this and this in your code? Okay, let's take a quick look at this, and then I will check with fontaine. Here is the idea. You are setting a variable. Let's call this variable testing, okay? And it has a value, which is a string called hello. Okay. By the way, I am in the Scratch buffer of Emacs, which by default runs Lisp interaction mode, and something like Doom sets this to fundamental mode of whatever, making it a totally useless buffer. And why am I mentioning this? Because when you are in the Scratch buffer of Emacs in Lisp interaction mode, you can type Control J here, and you see the command it is calling, the eval print last symbolic expression. And this way you can do the equivalent of Control X, Control E, as well as printing the value below. And this is nice, especially if you are doing this sort of thing where you want to keep a log of your latest evaluations over there. So we have a variable. When we evaluate it, it returns the value hello. Let's now do a message, as simple as that. And we want to print as a string something that is a list. So we have a list of 1, 2, and testing. Here is the idea. In Lisp, when you have a quote before a list, or before anything for that matter, you are telling the program that basically evaluates Lisp what this is, take it as is. So in this case, this whole list, we are telling the reader of the Emacs Lisp, we are telling it, this whole list, take it as is. Don't try to evaluate anything. You just take it and use it as it is. So this is the idea. Meaning that if we produce this message over here, we get back as a return value the list as a string in this case, of course, that's what we asked for. We get the list literally, 1, 2, and testing. And many times, this is what you want. You want to tell Emacs, take this literally. But there are times where you want to preserve this functionality. So let's see this. You want to preserve this functionality. So let me just write the same thing. 1, 2, and testing. But you want to say, hey, you know what? I wish there was a way for Emacs to take the list as is, but evaluate some elements in that list. And in that case, let's say that I don't want testing literally. I want the value of testing. So what you can do in this case is you can add a comma before the element you want to evaluate. Sometimes the element is just a single symbol, but it could also be a whole list or an entire list of lists, depending on what you are doing. But let's keep it simple here. So we want to tell Emacs, hey, you know what? Take this list as is, except for the elements that have a comma before them. And for this reason, we have to use the backtick. And so now we get 1, 2, and hello. If we don't use the backtick, so let's copy this here. If we don't use the backtick and instead use the single quote, we get the comma literally, because that is what we told the Emacs to do. So this is not what we want. Of course, if we were to evaluate this, again, we see only that the comma is escaped, so it is taken literally like that. And just for completeness, to say that if we don't have, so let's have the final example here. If we don't have the quote, let's remove the comma now, it doesn't really matter. If we don't have the quote, what happens in this case? If we don't have the quote, we are basically telling the Lisp reader that here, inside of this list, we have a function. The first element of the list is the name of the function, and the remaining elements of the list are the arguments that we pass to the function. This is the idea. So if we are to evaluate this, we will get an error which is telling us that 1 is a void function. Emacs is telling us, hey, you told me to evaluate 1 with arguments 2 and testing. I am searching for 1. I cannot find it as a function. This is an error. This is what Emacs is telling us here. So let's dismiss that. And you can see this pattern actually here. So we see here we have a list without a quote, right? So message is the first element of the list. So it is the name of the function, and everything else is the argument, the list of arguments in this case, that we pass to message. So this is the idea. I hope that covers it. So if you have any more questions, please let me know. Thank you. Oh, yeah. What is happening here? If I click anywhere on this thing, okay. So yeah, okay. Let's go to Fontaine now. Max is asking if I have scratch buffers for various modes. The answer is yes. I have this command over here, prot scratch buffer, and it allows me to select the mode, and I go to that buffers. To that mode's scratch buffer. So for example, I can have like, org mode or whatever, and here it is an org scratch buffer. This is the idea. There is a package which does this, scratch.el, but I don't remember exactly what differences there are between my little tweaks and that package. But what I have is just part of my dot file, so it's not a package somewhere. Okay, let's get into Fontaine, because I have been doing lots of changes to it. I have been making lots of changes to it these past few days. You can see, so from here, quite a few changes. Some of them are massive. Here, for example, I removed some conditionality. And no, this is not actually massive. There was another one where I removed the macro and added an abstraction. By the way, you see the backtick and the comma here in action, right? So I think it was this. Yeah. Okay. So these sorts of things. So I have been doing this sort of work, and it's work that is very important. So let me show you concretely what I have been doing. When we are defining a variable that users can configure, we call it a user option in Emacs parlance. And we define that, we declare that with the def custom keyword. The def custom is like the def var, which defines a variable, but it has a few extras here, and these extras are for type checking. By the way, is the indentation there correct? Okay, so let's fix that indentation. So it has a few extras for type checking, and the idea is that if you do Emacs customize, let's see, Emacs customize, and here we want to search for fontaine presets. Let's see. You get here the kind of type checking that I alluded to. For example, if I set the font family of fixed pitch, here it asks for a string. And if I give the number 1 and I try to apply it, it should. Why is it applying it? It should not apply it, but for some reason it does. So, what is happening here? Let me see. Sorry, folks. Yeah, this is kind of huge. Yeah, this interface I personally don't use. This is not usable. What is this? There should be a way to fold these, or like. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is what I wanted to see. Okay. Show the evaluated expression. Where is it? What did it do? Oh, it happily added 1 as a string. Okay. I see what it did. Okay. So it takes the thing and it interprets it as a string. So, okay, basically I cannot produce an error here. The way to produce an error is if I do customize. So there is the customize set variable. So there is this, but I won't use this. There is in Emacs 29 there is set opt, which is for setting options. Personally, I am not using this because setting options, setting variables, for me, this is the same thing. Anyway, let's see here. So the idea is that you have something like, let's try it very quickly. We have a regular set, and if I try to do default family, sorry, delete that, default family, and I say 1, oh, it does set it, no problem. What did it do? This is faulty, folks. What did it do here? 1 second. Okay, so I found a bug elsewhere. I'm trying to demonstrate some. It happily added 1. So I'm not sure if I have changed the set opt or what, but this is a faulty for sure, because the whole point of doing set opt is to do type checking. And basically here we are telling it that I want you this to only accept a string, and if it's not a string, to throw an error. Okay, let me try with customize set variable here, and I think this is how we do it. Oh, it happily sets it as well, no problem. Okay, anyhow, this is correct. What I am doing here is correct for sure. But this is strange. I'm not sure what is happening here. Anyway, let's not run off on a tangent. I want now to update the documentation of Fontaine. But because now I made this, I need to go and restore my customization of Fontaine. So 1 second, very quickly. Let me evaluate this. Okay, let's dismiss that. Okay, so anyhow, the idea is that I have been simplifying the code and I have been reducing the complexity, not the complexity, the repetition, and I have been adding more features to Fontaine. Fontaine is a package that allows you to define preset configurations and switch to them on demand. And basically, let me show it to you in action. I have these preset configurations. For example, I defined one specifically for live streams. Like I have another one for presentations where I demonstrate something specific. But here I think the text is a bit large, and you can see that it changes the font height, it changes the font family, and things like that. But I thought that for a live stream, I would want to have smaller text, a bit wider and a bit more thick, the characters. So that's why I defined a preset like that called live stream. Anyhow, let's get to the thing. What I have been doing is adding more faces that we can configure. So before we only had the default fixed pitch, variable pitch, bold, italic, whereas now we have also the faces for the mode line, for the header line that we see over here, for line numbers that we see over here, the tab bar mode, tab line mode, as well as the slant. So every face can have a slant of its own. This is the idea. And what I want to do is I want to document everything here because I have not documented anything because I was doing the changes and I was like, okay, I have to update this after the fact. So let's do this very quickly. The properties in detail. So instead of defining all the properties in detail now, I want to rewrite this. Originally, I had it like this because there were different properties for different faces. But now I have introduced homogeneity. I have made everything uniform. And so this kind of verbosity here is not needed, and it kind of makes it harder to follow things. So let's do this. Let's remove all this, the properties. Okay, so the CUDR is a plist that specifies the typographic properties of the faces listed in fontaine faces. This is the idea. And the fontaine faces has this value over here specifying all the faces. So this is good. So we have that. It also covers the line spacing variable. Okay. For each face, fontaine reads keywords that describe its font family, font weight, font slant, and font height. These are these have the name of those keywords is composed from the name of the face plus no. This is yeah. Actually, it was good to have it like that. Plus the specifier. For example, with the default face, we have default family, default height, yeah, default weight, and default slant. This is the idea. Available weights are listed in the fontaine weights. Fontaine font weights, fine, okay. I think this should be just fontaine weights. Font slants are specified in fontaine font slants, I imagine. Okay, so this is the idea. Now let's go and rename this to fontaine slants. Okay, that's nice. And then let's do the same for this. Okay, fontaine weights, better. So we have fontaine weights, we have fontaine slants. So this is looking good. I like this. Now let's describe the properties in more detail. The font family is a string that refers to the name of the font. The font, actually, let's use it like this. The font weight is an unquoted symbol among fontaine weights. Let's use it like this, it's better. So let's delete this over here. We don't need that. The font slant is an unquoted symbol among fontaine slants. This is good. The font height is a floating point like 1.0. Which is interpreted as a multiple of the default font height. An exception to this is for the default face, i.e. the default height, i.e. the default height here, which needs to be an integer. Or we can say a natural number, so this is the idea. Okay, the line spacing specifies the value of the line spacing variable. Okay, the inherit contains the name of another named blah, blah, blah. This is all correct. Fontaines and preset. This is fine. Everything here is fine. Okay. Let's expand this here. F themes and standard themes. Fine. Okay. This is good. The height attribute for anything other than the default face. Okay, so this I have already covered. Let's remove this. I noticed something is floating there and I don't see what it is in the chat. So I will check the chat right now. I see it again. Something is happening there. Fontaine does not. Okay, so let's leave that. Okay, so this is looking better, folks. I will now update the manual, but let me quickly check what is happening here. So why are there floaters here? Okay, so yeah, let's ignore it. Okay. Okay, so I don't know what that is. I think I saw something in my periphery. I say it again. I don't know what is happening, folks. Let's see. So now we want to take this, and I think it's easier if I just go to the manual. Okay, I want to also change this in the manual, so we will do that. Let's find the fontaine presets here. The support for the mode line is part of development version. Same for the introduction of the variables, fontaine weights, fontaine slants, fontaine fonts, faces. Okay, this is good. So we are telling the people that this is all part of development version. And what you see here, by the way, is something you may not see frequently, depending on how you use org mode. But let me go above. This is an org macro. And org macro can be just a fixed string. In this case, it is this. Or it can be an expression that evaluates into something. Like, for example, do I have my prot Emacs? Let me show you a simple expression. For example, the word count, you see? The word count is an expression, and we get the evaluation of that expression. This is the idea. So let's go back to where we needed to be here. Okay, so presets consist of a list of properties that govern the family weight. And um, here I write it differently, height and slant of the faces. One second. Of the faces listed in the value of the variable fontaine faces. Okay. Each preset is identified by a user-defined symbol as the car. Let's have this, the car of a property list. It looks like this. Let's see. Okay, so this I want to update. This I definitely want to update the value. Let's take this. And let's get into this here. Okay, up. Okay, this is better. And so now what I basically do, folks, is just updating the documentation so as to be comprehensive. And the documentation, when you are writing it in the source code, you are mostly addressing rather people who are viewing the source code. But when you are writing the manual, you are addressing everybody. So the manual is not just a copy paste of the doc string. You have to put some more work into it. Of course, even if you do a copy paste, it's better than not having a manual at all. So of course, I'm not against that. Let's see. Okay, so this is the idea. This is how the data structure works. And let me also do an example. Multiple presets form an A list and associate a list of lists. A list of lists. Let's not be too technical. Like this. Okay, and we want to show how that looks. So for example, we have regular, and this is having default height, monospace, default family, monospace, and more here, more properties here, and then up. What did I do? Okay, and then we have medium, default family. Let's have another thing. Iosefka Comfy wide. Why not? This is one of my fonts. And more presets here. And we close like that. This is the idea. Okay, the docstring of explain all properties in detail and documents some important caveats or information about font settings in Emacs. Okay, this is much nicer. This is much nicer, so nice and tidy. The reason I want to reference variables like this, so the reason I want to do this is because if I add a few more faces, then I don't have to come here and rewrite everything. I can tell people, hey, just check that because the code will use that internally to add support. And this is actually one of the things I added here in this type checking. Granted, for some reason, it doesn't work now, but here, I used to have this. I used to have something like this, and I used to have it as many times as I had faces. So it was, this sort of thing, and it was going on and on and on. So I had this, and it was, the only difference was, oh, this is for fixed pitch, this is for variable pitch, etc., etc. And I was like, no, 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 this does not scale. This is a disaster. So what I did instead is this. Why is not that working? Okay, better. So what I do instead is this. We are expanding here something that will generate this. And we do it for all the faces except the default face. This is the idea. Here again, you will see the comma that I mentioned earlier, but here we have also the at sign. This is kind of advanced. We don't need to delve into these technicalities, but basically the at sign is like, okay, take the list as it is and basically remove the parentheses. So give me the elements of that list. This is the idea. We don't need to go into the technicalities of this, but this is the idea. I also have a fixed me here because I think this match is not working, but now I realize that this is probably working and my customize is not working, which is not a problem for me because I never use it, but it is a problem for actually testing if this thing works. So there is that. But I will check again. I will try with a generic Emacs at some point and check again. So let's commit here. Okay, we will do these. Sorry, 1 second, because these are probably used elsewhere as well, or not. They are not used elsewhere. That's good. Or are they? Yeah, no. Okay, good. Rename fontaine, font, and then we have weights and slants to fontaine weights slants. Better. This is the idea. Commit. I realize that I have some trailing space there. So let's get back to my Git here. And here we say fix indentation. Not a problem there. And okay. Simplify the documentation of fontaine presets. Very good. Let's push. So this is looking good, folks. Very nice. Let me now go to GitHub here. Spacious padding, I think we can close for good. Let's close this. That's denote. This is fontaine. Let's get to the issues here. This is done, I think. Let me see. Okay, I replied via email. So this is done. Let's close it. Okay, this is good. Let's get to the issues here. Persist our multi-session to save restore. Okay, this is from Alpha Papa, Adam Porter. We will get to that. The minor mode is what I am interested in. So let's see. Okay, so here is the idea. And I think it is a good point made by Adam over there. In the sample configuration, actually persist. So let me actually show you the sample configuration. Sample configuration over here. We have these things here, which is that how you can recover the preset, how you can persist it and recover it, this sort of thing. So this is nice to have, but what Adam is saying here is why not put that in a minor mode? And I think that is an excellent idea. So I will do that right now, but let me quickly check the chat to see where we are. Let me see. Where is the last one? I think it was here, Carl Olsen. You have a typo in more detail versus mode detail. Oh, okay, thank you for that. So you mean here, mode detail? Of course, I have a typo. So more detail. So let's fix that. Fix a typo. Now, how can I reference you? Normally, even if it's a typo, I just say, but can I copy the URL of this? Is there a way to do that? Okay, I cannot. Okay, okay. Somehow I cannot, link to this. But okay, please work with me. Normally, I say, thanks, thanks to. I will write it here. Thanks to Peter K. For pointing this out. It was done during a live stream. Okay, so this is nice. Thank you. So let's push, off it goes. And let's now get to the minor mode focus, which is what I am interested in. Let's get first what we have over here. And we don't need that there anymore. And let's go here, and let's go towards the end because this is where we want it. Paste that in just for me to have it there as a reference. And let's define a minor mode. Minor modes are fantastic functionality because you basically have a bundle of variables and you can quickly toggle them on and off on demand. This is the idea. And I will say persist fontaine presets, arrange to store and restore the current fontaine preset when closing and restarting Emacs. Also, do it for when. Also, do it for theme switching if the Emacs major version, if the Emacs version is 29 or higher. And I want to mention here, I will expand on the documentation here. Let's do it here. Note that in older versions of Emacs, we do not have a hook that is called at the post-theme load phase. Users can do this by installing an advice like this. Read the info node, and let me get to the info manual of Fontaine. And we want to go to the agnostic before Emacs 29. Okay, this is the idea. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong one. This is what I want to get. Paste that there. Okay, so this is looking good, folks. Okay, this is the idea. The reason I quoted this is because you will see it in a minute. So actually, let me close this and you will see it now. Let's do this now. If I evaluate this and try to get a description, you will notice that this becomes a link. And if you actually click on it, it goes to the manual, which is neat. Okay, let's go here. A minor mode is when you are defining a minor mode, you are actually defining a number of things. You are defining a function, you are defining a variable, and you are defining a hook as well as a key map, depending on how you do it. So I want to say that this minor mode is global. And I want to say if fontaine mode, this is how we do it. So the function is called fontaine mode, and the variable is also called fontaine mode. So here what we are saying is if the variable is not nil, so if the variable has a value, and this happens when you run the function, which then sets the value. So if the variable has a value, we want to group in one function call. This is what prog_n means. We want to group the following. We want to group this as it is. I think this is totally fine. I would say we want to do the same thing here for the fontaine. Fontaine, there is a fontaine hook. I forget how it's called. Fontaine set preset hook. This is the idea. Basically, when to store the latest preset. This is the idea. My dog is barking. I'm not sure what is happening, so let's ignore it for now. But it's unfortunate that I am doing a live stream and things are happening. So hopefully no one is at the door. Yeah. So let's continue here and let's see how it does. Okay, this is looking good. And we also want to do it for the hook, for the theme switch. Enable theme functions. So this is the hook that is built into Emacs. And for the theme, I actually forgot which function we call. Theme switch. Apply current preset. Okay. Apply the current preset. This is the idea. Okay, this is looking good. So let's close the prog_n there. And then what we want to do, of course, so actually let's copy this. What we want to do is when the minor mode is disabled, we want to remove all those hooks. This is the idea. So here, let's see if we can do that. Remove. Okay, this is the idea. What do I have wrong here? Yeah, of course. So because this is a global minor mode, it also needs to be auto-loaded. This is the idea. Auto-load is an interesting feature in Emacs, which basically means that if you have not required the package and you call this, Emacs will require the package and then load this that is referenced by the auto-load cookie. But if you try to call something that is not auto-loaded, for example, this, you get an error. This is the idea. Unless you require the package. Okay, so let's have this. I think this is looking great. So let's go and document it now. We want to add it to the sample configuration. Persist fonts when closing, starting, font presets. Persist the latest font preset when closing, starting Emacs, and while switching between themes. Okay, this is the idea. Okay, persist font configurations on theme switch. And I will say here that as part of the development version, actually I have, let's do it like this. I wrote this earlier. Does this work? Okay. As part of development version, we provide, rather, there exists the fontaine mode, which does this automatically. Okay, and we don't need to mention anything more. So this is enough. Let's have this as well. And yeah, I think we are good to go here. So I want to acknowledge Adam Porter for this idea. Adam Porter. Let's write the Alpha Papa because it is well-known, a well-known nickname. So let's do that. And I want to provide a link to this issue, acknowledging Alpha Papa for it. Define up. What did I do there? I am a bit clumsy with my keys. Sorry, folks. This is all because of the pain I have in my left arm, and I try to adapt to it, but it is kind of hard. Define fontaine mode to store, restore font presets. Thanks to Adam Porter, Alpha Papa, for suggesting this in issue number. I forgot to check the number. This was, oh, come on. Here too. Okay. Okay, so this is looking good. Let's push that, and then let's tell Adam that hello again. I just pushed, come on, pushed the change for this. Thank you. Okay, so this is done as well. This is looking good. Let's close this. Okay, let me check the chat. I was about to check the chat earlier, and I fixed the typo, and then I forgot. So hello to everybody again. Hi, Prod. I love your videos. Thank you. Let me see. I think I scrolled too far. So much great Emacs content recently. Very happy to see the patron saint of Emacs back at it. So thank you. I guess I am the patron saint in that case. So yeah, I think that's yeah, that's too much. I'm not sure I can keep up with that, but I try my best. There are lots of good people in Emacs, of course, so I'm not the only one. At what point is org macro like development version executed? Is during document export? Asks Maxim there. And the answer is yes. So those macros are for when you are exporting. And the idea is that you can then control what gets exported. So let's see. Does anyone know how prod jumped to a headline in org? I missed the hotkey. So let me show you what I did. So I actually did a video about this like a few days ago. So let's actually go to org. There is, I will do it the way we would normally do it. Emacs consult outline. By the way, you will notice that I am using Vertigo, but if I type something like MX, nothing pops up by default. So it is some configurations on top of Vertigo that I am doing so that it doesn't pop up eagerly. And I do this for my videos because I don't want to accidentally show something that shouldn't be recorded. This is the idea. But otherwise, Vertigo is totally fine. I like the behavior it has. So consult, and this is also why I don't have consult. We will see it right now. It's for privacy purposes. But MX consult outline. This is the idea. And this allows you to select a heading in the buffer. Of course, you can type or you can just move around. You know, this is the idea. And you just hit enter, and there you are. You just go to the heading right there. Consult is totally fine. I really like it. And when I am working privately, I use consult. But when I am doing videos, I don't want to actually have the preview. So I have my own command, which is the same idea as what consult does, but without the preview. This is the thing. So it's more simplistic, of course. It's not as powerful as consult, but it is this same idea. And maybe you didn't see anything because I typed quickly, but it's basically the command. Let me show you the name of it: prod search outline. But really, just use consult. Don't try to copy paste from my code. There is very little chance that you really need to hide stuff the way I do. But of course, if you want to hide, you are happy to check my .emacs, and you can get the code from there. It is part of my website, so prodesilaos.com/emacs/ let's actually write it here. Does this work? It's emacs.emacs. So I just put it in the chat. Maybe it's easier. How do I type here? Okay, thank you. Let's place that there. Okay, so that's good. Let's put it back up. Okay, so where are we? I forgot. Okay, I was tying up the fontaine part. That's looking good. I'm very happy with this. I just also want to tell oh, I need to go back to Fontaine now. I don't have it. So let's go back here. Same issue, same reason for the privacy stuff. Why also my browser doesn't show anything. You see here, it's when I am doing videos, I don't want to be showing history. I don't want to be showing possible stuff. So it's good to have it like this, nice and simple. Let's tell this person here. So let's write it. Hello again. Recent changes include support for font slants as well. If you do try it, please let me know how it goes. If you do try the development version, please let me know how it goes. So this is the idea. Okay, we can now close the chapter on Fontaine. So that was quite nice. So I wanted to also cover denote as well as the F themes, but now I'm not sure. Like, what's the time like? 35 past 3. Okay, so we've been here for an hour. Okay, that's good. That's totally fine. I was like, okay, let's spend, a couple of hours max here. And so we are good. We have like basically another hour. So yeah, I will do the denote thing. There is this, which is an item for documentation, but I think I've done a lot of documentation here and I want to do some coding. And in denote, we have something we can do. Fix edge cases when inserting missing links via org dynamic blocks. So, of course, denote is a note-taking and file naming package. I have done videos about it, so if you don't know what it is, you can check those. You can also check the documentation. It is comprehensive. It is something that should help you get started. Vedang Manerikar is reporting a bug here, and this, of course, is a problem. Let me see what the bug is about. Open a new node, and while it is empty, try to insert and populate an org dynamic block type of denote missing links. Okay, so let's go to denote. And we can dismiss Fontaine now. It did what it had to do. Let's go to denote. And what we want to do is, in this case, I want to go to the nodes testing. And Vendang says that open a new node, and while it is empty, try to insert and populate. Okay, so let's do that. Let me see. Do I have something here? Let's see. Maybe this. Okay, it is empty. I guess this counts as empty. So let's do the denote d block missing. So we have this org dynamic block. Match files with the given regular expression. So let's do test. I see. Wrong type argument, string p. So this is what Vedang is referring to. And since I mentioned this earlier, let me do the toggle debug on error. And so if I now do the same thing, oh, sorry, not this. If I now do the same thing, invoke this command that produced an error, I will now get this backtrace. This is the idea. And this is what I told the person earlier that was using Doom Emacs. I told them to do the same thing because in the backtrace, let's expand. In the backtrace, we can see what is happening? So basically, we have this 65 thingy here, which is a number, and we get the error that 65 is not a string. So something is expecting a string. So we can see that here we are trying to do a file name conversion of 65 instead of, oh, I clicked on something. Instead of the conversion of a string name into what we need to get over there. And basically, the thing is that the prepare links, so then we have a compiled function. Basically, this thing didn't get what it should get. This is the idea. So let's see what the Vedang's analysis is. There are two issues in the underlying code. When this function finds 0 missing links, it returns with a string, return value of message, instead of with an empty list. When there are 0 pre-existing denote links in the current buffer, expand this thing here, returns nil. This sets linked files value to nil and short circuits the if let when it should not. Okay, this sounds like a good analysis. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like this. I actually I find it hard to check a GitHub thingy there. So what I do is I will tell you actually. You can take the URL in GitHub. You can take the URL, the default URL, and append to it patch. And if you do that, you get the thing as an actual patch. And this you can apply directly. But for me, what I want right now is to go to downloads, patches over here. Let's go and see it here. And I saved it. So this is what I did. I saved it there. So what Vedang is doing is, instead of returning the message, returns an empty list. Huh. Of course, if we are to return an empty list as the else clause, we could use when let here, because the empty list is the same as nil. So I believe that would work. But of course, maybe there is some different handling there. I'm not sure. But we will see. We will see. And also makes the let here. Okay. Actually, this is maybe needed. Mm-hmm. Okay, I actually like this. Okay, but let's continue. Let's continue. Okay, this is all there is to it. This is a tricky case because I'm not sure I want to stop returning a message. The message is helpful because it tells the user something useful. Whereas a nil value is kind of cryptic in that case. So let's go to denote. Let's go to the extras here. And let's find this thing over here. Here, I think the checking should be done here, meaning that here we should say if there are any files matching the regular expression, then do all those things. Otherwise, just return nil. So let me see if I can. I will try Vedang's code, but before I do that, what if we do that? When we have files matching the regular expression, let's just do this, you know? So let's not try to willy-nilly expand that. And we could actually make it more, like not when we could also add, list P, files matching regex. Actually, I don't think we need the and in that case. Okay, so clumsy again. Let's try this now. Let's go back to, where was it? This thing over here. And let's insert the links. Same thing as before. You see now I get no error. Updating dynamic block. Okay, so like this. We could even say, we could even make it produce a message as well. So we could even say, no files, or actually, let's not add a message at this point, because I think here it is understood what is happening here. You wanted to add the missing links. There are no missing links. So this is the functionality. Let me then do the following. Produce this diff and set that to Vedang for review. And tell Vedang what I want to say. So let's go here, because now I do want to have Markdown. Thank you. I wonder if we can achieve this by using something like the following. Okay, here, and this is a diff. Okay, paste this in. The reason is that the message we have there provides useful information. It is nice to keep that sort of feedback around if we can. Okay, so this is the idea. Let's send this to Vedang. And okay, up, comment. Okay, so this is good. This is good. So yeah, we could check that. Let me just confirm that list P doesn't throw an error if we give it nil. So if we do list P nil, it doesn't. Oh, this is wrong. What is that? So list P returns. Oh wow, folks, look what I discovered. I had no idea. The reason this returns true now, I was expecting it to return nil, is because the empty list is nil, but that is, of course, a list, right? Back. Where is it? Where is it? So we want to have the and then. So we do want to have the and. Oh my goodness, what a gotcha there. So we do want to have the and there. So let's produce this and send that to Vedang. Sorry, updated diff. Added the and because list P nil returns true. So that is an interesting thingy there. Let's actually add parentheses here. Okay, yeah, this is not Emacs. What happened? No, don't mess around with me. Okay, let's do that. Diff. Okay, normally I reply to these via email, but there are times where I do it in the browser. So yeah. Okay, it went. It sent it. Okay, it sent it. Okay, good. So yeah, this is it about denote. There is another thing which is about documentation, and I can check that as well. There also are two more here. Of course, I want to check these as well. This we have been working on with Jean-Philippe, but yeah, we've reached a dead end then. I'm not sure what to do with that. This I haven't had the time to check. But Jean-Philippe commented there, so I will have to check that. But I want to do this as well. But let me check the chat very quickly in case there is something here. I'm happy to reply. Subhajit, Hopefully I have pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I did it wrong. Hi Prot, how do we use development version of a package in Emacs? Usually I use use package, but I think it is always the stable version from Melpa. Thanks a lot. So if you are using Melpa, if it's specifically from Melpa, it's actually not a stable version. It's the latest commit, because this is how Melpa works by default. If you have enabled Melpa stable, which is a different archive, then yes, that is the latest tagged release of the package. I found Melpa stable to not be a good option, not because there is anything wrong with Melpa stable, but because the people who write packages for Melpa tend to think in terms of, I just committed, so my package is already updated. And maybe they don't think about Melpa stable. They don't think about tagging a release and doing that sort of thing. So Melpa stable might have packages that are out of date. This is the idea. But to your point, if it is Elpa, so the GNU Elpa, let's go to my init.el here, and we have the package archives. So here is the thing. I have, by the way, this website here, this publication here, actually. You can take a look. I will post it in the chat, assuming I can do that. Okay, I posted that in the chat. So here we have settings of package archives. And you will notice that this is one of the defaults. And I specify the development version of it right here. Okay, so you have to add the GNU Elpa development version to your package archives. This is the idea. Then you can set the archive priorities. So if you want to have all the packages go from the devel by default, add it here, the name of it, with a higher number. So basically the higher number takes priority. This is the idea. And you can see the number of priorities I have here like this. And finally, if you want, like in my case, what I want is to get the stable version from GNU Elpa. But for some packages, namely the packages that I maintain or contribute to, so theme buffet is one I contribute to, the others are mine. So for those packages, I want to add them to the package pinned packages. And just to show you the value of this variable, yeah, this is not very readable. So the idea is that, yeah, I will show you one example with this. So, or, actually, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Sorry. Okay. Clumsy with the keys over here. So scratch, let's see. So here the hash 1 here refers to that. So can we just remove that, and then this, can we do something about it? Oh, not that. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, we want to replace that with GNU Elpa develop. Sorry again. Oh my goodness, I am a disaster when it comes to typing. Okay, let's try again. Oh my goodness. So, okay, let me look at the keyboard. So GNU Elpa develop. Okay, better. Okay. So this is the idea. This is the value. And maybe we can also do this to have some kind of, okay, quick and dirty, but you get the idea. So you can pin a package, you give it the name, and you pin it to the archive. And this means that this specific package, I want to get it from that archive. This is what you are telling Emacs. And then whether you do it with use package or with some other thing, it doesn't matter. Use package is a configuration macro. So it will install packages the way you tell it to. This is the idea over here. So yeah, this is it. But please let me know if it's not very clear, and I'm happy to help. Where was I now? So we are back here. Let me continue with the chat very quickly. There is also org jump to heading beginning bound. Org jump to heading beginning, and it is bound to the ampersand and the asterisk. So yeah, this exists as well as a way to jump to headings in org. The thing with consult outline and with the version that I have here is that it works in other buffers as well. So for example here, so you have a single point of entry for that sort of thing, but of course this works fine as well. Max says here, probably we could use const p instead of list p. Huh. You are right, I think. But we will try. We will try and see how that goes. Okay. Const p nil should, of course, return nil. Uh-huh. Okay, so const p should again return nil. Okay, this is correct. I like this more, yes. Simple and super effective. So, Max, maybe you want to send a patch for that. I'm happy if you do it, and I can merge it so that I don't do it from here, you know. But we could do a quick check of how many cases we have of an and with something and then list p. So let's take a look. Not that many. Okay, not that many. So actually, it's only this, or no? Okay. So probably this is fine. This is probably fine. So it would only be this one, it seems. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, please check Max, and I'm happy to get the patch. Let's then do this over here. So we have the link description function. So the idea is when you're adding links with denote, that by default it will just add the title. And the idea is that you can just write your own function and basically have it produce what you want over there. There was another case where we saw this recently, and I would like to use that instead. Let me see. So okay, so let's get this. So rather than use this old issue, which is closed, let's close it. I think we mentioned it somewhere here. If I type this, does this actually do anything? Does this work? No. Is it here? No, it's not this. 11 closed, so hopefully... it's probably here. Yes. So this issue was brought up again, and Jean-Philippe mentioned here like a case for it. So I think this sort of thing can go in the documentation. This is the idea. Basically, change the way the description of the link is produced, and do it like this. Okay. Okay, the thing is that this is a def var, so it's not a user option. Let me take a look at it again. Denote link description with signature and title. Function used to create the description of links. The function specified should take a file argument and should return the description as a string. By default, the title of the file is returned as the description. So what is this function doing then? Let's see. So this function or denote link description function, or this. Okay, so basically what we are doing here is we have a fallback. So in case the user doesn't specify a function, we do that. Okay, and this does what? Return description from file as signature space file title. Okay, but this always returns a signature. If region text is non-nil, the description is the text of the active region instead. The format is specified in variable denote link signature format. If a signature is not present, only the title is returned. So a stylistic point here is that when we have a public function like this or a public symbol like this, we don't want to reference a private symbol. In Lisp, the convention is, in Emacs Lisp rather, the convention is when you have double dash, you are basically telling the person who is reading this, this is for private use. It's only for the package. Don't use it. If you use it, we may break it, we may change it, so you are on your own. This is the idea. So the first thing would be to make it public. Subject to feedback should be better disambiguated in this context. Okay. So I will make this public first of all. So let's do that. And denote. Okay, so this is public, but I will define an obsolete variable alias. So this is now called link signature format, and this is part of version 3.0. I don't have to do this. I don't have to define an obsolete variable, but I do it nonetheless, because somebody is probably using this somewhere and I don't want to break their code. This is the idea. But generally, don't rely on private symbols because they can break at any moment. Okay, so we have that. So this is fine. So let me make that public first of all, and we will return. Okay, this, and this. And so the idea is make denote link signature format public. And here fix a typo. Okay, this is good. Let's go back up. What happened here? Denote. Okay, here we are. Now let's look again at the code. So what do we have here? So okay, so it conditionally adds the signature only if the signature exists. If it doesn't exist, it just adds the title, which is correct. So I would say that we need to rephrase this. Return description from file. Return region text should be optional in this case, by the way. Yeah, let me actually see where this is called, folks. 1 second. So this is called there, always with a thing, but we might in the future call it elsewhere. So I would say, let's do the following. Optional, and here, return link description for file. We will get back to that. With optional region text, make that region text as a string, make that the description. Otherwise, produce a description as follows. If file has a signature, then use the denote link signature format. And we could say that by default, this looks like this. Okay. If file does not have a signature, then use its title as the description. Okay, this is the idea. Okay, and I think this is good. Okay, I think this is looking good here. So what we want to do is go check the for advanced users section. We don't have it there. Advanced. So we have a section for advanced users or developers, and we need to add this there. So what do we have about links, first of all? Some function for links. What do we have? Only these? Hmm. Okay, so that's probably okay. F index means that we are providing an index here for the metadata of the info manual. So when you are in the info manual, you can actually find the index at the end of the manual. And this is the function called like this. And here it's actually totally fine to copy paste the string, how is it called? The doc string. So let's do that. Because this is, again, for advanced users or developers. So let me actually do this that I have. I should write a function, by the way, that will do all the capital letters that will add them between equals signs. So this thing over here. But I don't have it now, so I have to do it the manual way. It should read the region. It should find anything that is capital and just do what I am doing here. So this shouldn't be too difficult, but yeah, I haven't done it actually. So let's get to that. And let's also document, before we do that, we want to also document the variable here. And this is the def var. So this is a v index. So this is for variables, and this is a variable, and we have that over there. Okay, this is totally okay. Fine, and let's. Oh, sorry. Clumsy all around, folks. So here we have that, and then we also need to document this. And oh, this should be documented. Come on. Yeah, okay, this is documented. Okay, so that's totally fine. It was another one that I wanted to document. This one. Okay. Let's add it below. F index. And this is a function. So we have that. 1 second. Let's see again. It's easier if I get it like this. Okay. We don't have anything here we need to do. Actually, this could only be, with one. And this is why I want this thing to be automatic. I would have that. And let me say that everything below this point is part of development version. All of the following are part of dev. This is the idea. Okay, so I think this is already enough in terms of documentation. I don't want to actually provide examples here because I think this is quite advanced. So I am like, okay, let's leave this as is. But probably an example would actually help. I am conflicted. So let me add a to-do for this. Copy link. And let me add a to-do. What did I do? Yeah, okay. Here, let's add a to-do. Consider documenting this, such as okay, this is the idea. Up, typos, clumsiness all around. This is a disaster, folks. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Um, Update, denote, link, description with signature and title. Update, definition and docs of. Okay. Let's see, this we leave it. Okay, let's ignore this. Document in the manual all the link, description, format, variables, and functions. All the new. Okay, fine. This is for Vedang. And here we can add this, add a to-do about documenting, about examples for this. Okay, this is looking good, folks. Let's post all that. So this is fine. Let me see. Everything is up there. Here I had. Let's actually add this as well. Yeah. Um, Add comments to a sample code snippet to make it more obvious. Yeah, a couple of comments because this kind of code is an example for users who may not be necessarily advanced users. So we want to spell out stuff that may be obvious to someone who is more experienced. Okay, so let me check. Where are we, folks, in terms of the chat? So Chinmaya, I'm not sure. So hopefully I did not butcher the name. Sorry if I did. Nice sweater, Prot. So thank you very much. I've had this for many years actually, and it's been going from strength to strength. So I am happy with that. This helps a lot. Thank you very much. You are welcome. So Jess or Se-shun, I'm not sure how I would pronounce it, sorry. Hi Prot, long time no philosophical walk. Yeah, you're right, it hasn't happened, and it's a combination of reasons. Mostly it's because I am doing work around the hut. So when I am not at the computer, I actually do a lot of work around the hut, and maybe you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but I am full of scratches the whole time. I don't know if it's even visible on camera, but basically I do a lot of work around here, so I haven't had time for it. Fundamentally, this is the reason. And Matthew Smith says here, I appreciate good examples in the manuals. So that's good to know because in the denote manual, for example, there are lots of examples and I try to tend to the needs of everybody. So this manual is 40,000 words long. And by the way, I need to now publish all the manuals on my website. So let's do that very quickly. So here, granted, I am not explaining everything I am doing here, so sorry about that. But because this is the nature of the live stream, I am not really doing a demo or a tutorial or something. So this is mostly how I would work, and that's why we get to see this over here. I forgot to do it earlier for fontaine, right? So let me do this up. Let's bring this inside of your field of view. So let's export and then go to the fontaine up, not here. Let's go to the fontaine HTML here and clumsy update. Let's see if we can make it. Oh, we will never make it there, folks. Update this and did I make any changes to spacious padding actually, the code, the manual rather? I don't remember, but just to be sure, let's do the spacious padding as well. Oh, I don't have a, oh, that's a shame. So I don't have a manual for spacious padding. That's the thing. Oh no, I should have. What am I talking about? So let's go to the fontaine HTML page, and I should have a manual for spacious padding over here. Okay, so let's add that bookmark. Okay, and I will just double check to make sure that I'm not destroying something else here. Okay, this is looking fine. And here we want to say update spacious padding. Okay, good. So let's push to origin. Let's push to the mirror. Okay, did it go there? Okay, good, good. Okay, we are in denote again. And I think denote is covered for now. I will check the others as well, the other issues here. But these are probably too technical, so let's not get into the weeds there. Let me then, so I would say I have like another 15 minutes. Of course, this is arbitrary. I could go on for hours, but because I have the pain in my arm, I try to limit my typing time. And already I feel the pain here. So I have to be careful with that. And this is also why I'm clumsy. I try to type differently, but yeah, anyway. Let's close with the F themes, folks. F themes, here is the idea. Actually, we can dismiss denote. We don't need it. By the way, you see me switching frames here. I do this with my beframe package. I have done a video about it, so I won't elaborate here. Okay, so here is the issue with the F themes. I am using the F Spring theme, by the way. Now it's just random. I just did. I just opted to load one of the F themes randomly, and it picked this one. I am totally fine with it. So here is the thing. Let's produce this. So when you are using a light theme, a light F theme, there are some interfaces that will highlight persistently this sort of match. And this includes occur, it includes the xref buffers, and there are others as well. And I will do a search as well, just so that you see, oh, come on, see relatively that the persistent color, that yellow that we had initially, is not too different from the other colors. Of course, there is a difference, but it's not too different. For example, if I search for custom, we see this yellow and that yellow over there. They are not too far apart. This is the idea. But I will now switch to one of the dark F themes, and actually I will switch my entire system to dark. So please adjust your monitor or whatever. I am switching to a dark theme now. I'm giving you an extra second. Okay, so I'm switching now to the dark theme. Let's go with this one. Yeah, let's just go with this one. So now you see the difference. 1 second, my dog is again barking outside. Yeah, keep them out. Keep them out. Okay, let's see what we have. So I will go for a walk with my dog with a little bit. in a little bit. But for now, let's see this. Let's see. So what I was telling you is that this is too dark, basically. You see here, these are too bright, or rather, these are the brightness I want them to be, but the other is too dark. So I want to go find the face called match, and I see this is the BG warning face. And this is already a problem because BG warning has a reason to be that way. It shouldn't be mapped there, but for now, let's use, for now, let's use BG warning like that. So I want to go find BG warning. Okay, and I see here that they are all too dark, basically. They are all too dark and they would need to be tweaked a bit. So of course, this is a lot of work because I have to do it for every theme. But let me do it for this theme as well, just to give you an idea of this sort of work. So let's go and find the BG yellow, for example, assuming I can type. BG yellow subtle and yellow intense. And we can see the difference here. It's substantial. Of course, I don't want to bump them up to that value, but I do want to increase it here substantially. So let's see. So the green, the green I would say has to be, let's say, 3B, and this has to be 1A and add an F over there. So let's make this 4, or rather, so as to not confuse it with the red, let's make this 34. Okay, and then the red up. What did I do? Okay, I typed too many characters. F, okay. Actually, the red make it less green and add a little bit of blue to it. So like this. This is looking better already. Oh, I forgot to add the development version of the themes. So now I have to do this. No problem. Let's do the palette overrides. FBio palette overrides. And I want to say that these entries override them. So let me reload the theme. Okay, so I can see already that this is looking good now. Okay, this is looking exactly, or maybe not exactly, give or take, but this is looking like the direction I want to go to. But let me see what the impact of this is, because these are BG warning. Okay, this is totally fine. This is totally usable like this. Let me see the BG warning. I think it's used here. Let me see. Yeah, it's totally fine. It's totally okay. Yeah. Oh, this is fantastic. I got the colors right in one go, actually. Maybe I would need to tweak them a little bit, but this is looking quite good, I would say. Wow. So, yeah. This is the idea. I have to go through all the dark themes and do this sort of thing. Of course, some themes will have the same values, but there are other themes that are that have a different, considerably different background, and there I would need to test it differently. But you can see the idea here. Maybe we can enable. No, we cannot. Maybe if I put this in. Oh, sorry. In the Scratch, maybe we can see the differences here. Let's see. So yeah, I would say it's subtle, but it is definitely effective. We can see it over there. Let's bring this here. Oh, wrong color, wrong spot, I mean. Put this here and put this there. So yeah, this is the idea. This is the kind of tweak I need to make to all the themes so that this specific part of their interface is looking good. But I will do this later. I don't need to bother you with this because I actually also need to test the relative values, the luminance and everything. So these are tests that I do internally, but you can get an idea of the contrast ratios. If you check the source code of the F themes, there is this contrast ratios, and there are tables like this one. So you can take a look. This is a org syntax, by the way. This is calculated by org. So yeah, I don't want to go into this now. I do some checks there, but the idea is that I need to tweak that thing, and this will go into the next version of the themes. And this is a very good start. Maybe it will be what I will end up with. So I would say it's a good point to close the stream now here and go for a walk as well. There is still sunshine outside, and it would be a good idea for me to go for a walk now. A long walk. I always go for long walks. So let me close this. Take a quick look at the chat in case there is something I would need to comment on. Let's see what we have. This emoji thingy here, I don't know who thought about this. It shouldn't be there. It's really annoying. Can you please give an idea what's the use of dir local.el file? So it is dir dash locals with an S at the end .el. The idea is that you want to send some variable for a specific set of files, for a directory and for the files in that directory. And you can think of it like this. Imagine you have like a project that defines like a compile command. You know, when you do a compilation, what should it be doing? So you have a project that does one compile command, and then you have another project that does another compile command. You don't want to define a global, you know, compile command, whatever, because that would fail. You want to define directory locals there, and in those directory locals, define their respective variable, their respective value that you should have. Let me bring this here so that it is visible here. What's the best way to load an F theme? Momentarily, when Emacs restarts, the theme is not loaded properly, require me to reload it. This sounds wrong. I will type it. Actually, I will type it here because it's a larger font. The way you load any theme is with load the theme. And then, for example, I will use the theme I am now using, fbio, and then no confirm. This sort of thing is enough, okay? But it may be that if you are assuming you use package, okay? So you may have something like this. And you can have something like this. This will work as well, okay? But here is the thing. This is a common pitfall with use package. Let's say you have a bind keyword, okay? And here you are saying, for example, F5, and you have some function there, some command over there. Okay, so you may have something like this. At this point here, this will fail. This will fail because what use package does when it sees a bind, it auto loads the entire thing. So you have to call the command, and then it will evaluate what you have in the config. And for me, this is like the kind of magic that I don't like. I absolutely do not like that because it is the single most important, the single major source of confusion for a lot of people. Like, why is this not working? Or with Hook as well. Hook does the same thing. So yeah, why are my things not working? So if you have something like this, you need to add a demand. Sorry, demand true. You need to add that, otherwise use package will not load your theme, or rather with not execute, with not evaluate the code you have over there. This is the idea. If you are in a scenario like this, a generic one, make sure you have this. Require this. So, okay, so this works, this works, this works. But let's do it again here. This doesn't work. So, does not work. Does not work. It works, but it doesn't work the way you would expect. Okay, it works by deferring the loading, and then if you call this, it will evaluate that. So there is that. Okay, so I think that covers it, folks. Thank you very much for your attention. So this was a spontaneous live stream. I just saw my schedule this morning. I was like, okay, I haven't done one in a while, so why not? But basically, this is the sort of work I do when I maintain my packages. So yeah, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, and I wish you everybody a pleasant day and enjoy the remainder of the week. So goodbye from my side. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.